On the wedding night with Ethan, it was interrupted by his sudden appearance of his white moonlight. I knew he wasn't an honest person, but I didn't expect him to even play with having a child. I swirled the red wine glass in my hand and sneered, "Why don't I lend you the wedding venue so you can get married on the spot?" Ethan was instantly overwhelmed with panic, holding my hand and kneeling on one knee, repeatedly assuring me it was just an accident and that his heart only had me. Chloe suddenly gasped delicately, struggling to hold her belly as she slid to the ground, crying pitifully, "Sister Sophia, I beg you to fulfill us, we are the ones truly in love." He looked over nervously, subconsciously standing up to help her. Then he turned back to meet my gaze, the apology long gone, replaced by silent coercion. I indifferently curled my lip, took out my phone, and dialed, "Your skills are lacking, you're so slow at crashing the wedding." From the other end, a low, electric voice drilled into my ear, "It wouldn't be proper to go empty-handed. I prepared some modest gifts to properly welcome Miss Sophia's arrival." I smiled and was about to speak when I was interrupted. "Sophia, Chloe is in severe discomfort, I can't rest easy. Let's continue our wedding next time." He didn't even notice my phone call, nor did he care about my reaction, leaving me with a mess. Carefully protecting Chloe's belly, he picked her up and walked straight out. The two clung intimately, looking more like a newlywed couple as they exited under following gazes. I ignored them, lowering my head and frowning at the already hung-up phone, troubled there would be some coaxing to do when I got back. The whispers in the venue gradually solidified due to my silence. They probably thought I was heartbroken and didn't want to touch my sore spot at this time. Robert hurriedly came over, smiling awkwardly to smooth things over. "Miss Chloe is Ethan's lifesaver, he just wants to repay the favor." Margaret also chimed in beside him, "Yes, yes, good Sophia, you're sensible, don't stoop to his level." "Uncle, Auntie, I don't understand this. How does repaying a favor end up in bed?" My best friend Luna grabbed a bottle of red wine and rushed over, slamming it on the table, immediately retorting, "Is this the Jiang family's upbringing?" Then, ignoring their ashen faces, she pulled me away. "Sophia, let's go, men with two legs are everywhere, we don't need to suffer this grievance." As we walked out, the venue became lively again. A few scattered words reached my ears, "Even the capital's young lady can get cheated on, what's the use of all that money? She still can't keep her man. This Ethan is bold, couldn't hold back at the wedding site, looks like this alliance between the two families is doomed." I calmly got into the car, while Luna angrily pounded the steering wheel. "Sophia, let's go to the bar right now and order 10 male models. The Jiang family really thinks there's something, daring to make you suffer this grievance." Actually, I had anticipated this long ago. This engagement was arranged by the elders, we had no feelings for each other and hadn't even gotten the marriage certificate. I thought we'd muddle through for a few years and divorce once we each found our true loves. But Ethan actually played with having a child, embarrassing the Sue family at the wedding site. I had thought that, like me, as an heir who received a lead education from childhood, I needed the Jiang family's ports, and he needed the Sue family's foundation. Both sides taking what they need, that's adult behavior. But my trust allowed him to be so audacious. This account, he and I are not done. Just as I was about to ask my best friend to take me back to the company, the vehicle stopped abruptly. "Miss Sophia, dressed in a wedding gown and in such a hurry, is there someone you're eager to meet?" Lowering the car window, I met a pair of phoenix eyes, exuding exceptional grace. Yet, they were full of resentment. "It seems I arrived untimely, Miss Sophia already has a new love. Do you still want me, your old flame?" What nonsense, what has he been reading again? I helplessly chuckled, how could that be? I'm just planning to pick up Lucas. If you don't like this wedding dress, I'll burn it later. Lucas raised an eyebrow, somewhat satisfied with my answer, and handed me a USB drive, a modest gift. To help Miss Sophia resolve the petty people at home soon, don't let them spoil the next wedding. I smiled and took it. Thank you, Lucas, I'll resolve it quickly and welcome you through the door soon. After parting, Luna eagerly leaned in. Who was that? I don't recognize him, how are you so familiar with him? I teasingly looked at her. You know him, Lucas. The chubby kid from the Fu family, your archenemy? The car suddenly braked, jolting me forward. Is it necessary to be so surprised? Drive properly. Indeed, fat kids are all potential stocks, he's so handsome now. When did you start secretly seeing him? He's now. Luna exclaimed in admiration. My wife, whom I'll officially marry in a few days. Luna exclaimed again, giving a thumbs up, you're the best. Before the words finished, chaos erupted at my doorstep. Butler Zhang saw me and greeted, Miss, you're back. The Jiang family wants to visit, what do you think? It must be because they saw I was truly angry. Robert came with a pile of apologies. Sophia, Ethan, that child, we just didn't teach him well, he'll definitely change next time. Give him another chance, I'll make him break off with that woman when I get back, and he'll definitely return. Such thick skin was truly a first for me, uncle, no need to make excuses for him, he's not a 3-year-old. Our Su family isn't unreasonable, we'll just fulfill his wish. My merciless words left Robert completely embarrassed. But in the end, he didn't dare offend me, just continued bowing and smiling. Daughter-in-law, name a price, once the child is born, we'll bring it to you to raise as yours and Ethan's. Let's still live well together. I lowered my eyes to glance at him, smiling playfully, and said slowly, the Su family doesn't lack such things. Margaret wanted to speak but was interrupted by Luna. The Jiang family's mess, the Su family won't accompany it. News conference at 9 a.m. tomorrow for explanations, no waiting if late. Their faces alternated between pale and red, embarrassed and panicked. They wanted to chase after, but Butler Zhang neatly closed the gate, leaving them rebuffed. The next day, I had set up the equipment, and reporters from all sides were ready, just waiting for Ethan. But soon the morning passed without a shadow of him. Until Luna shared a live stream with me. In the footage, Ethan was in a suit, one hand gently around Chloe's shoulder, the other lightly stroking her swollen belly. The two sat together, like a perfect couple, accepting reporters' blessings. Chloe is the love of my life, being able to create life with her is my greatest happiness. As soon as the words fell, the reporters' seats exploded. Mr. Ethan, what about your wedding with Miss Sophia? Is Miss Chloe a later intervener? Ethan didn't hesitate, his eyes firm, destined love doesn't care about order, I only love Chloe. As if afraid the reporters couldn't hear, he emphasized heavily, Chloe is my only love, the mother of my child. The microphone in my hand slipped and fell with a muffled thud. I ignored it, coldly staring at the man on the screen speaking emphatically. After yesterday's farce, Chloe's reputation was ruined online. Ethan, with his heart only for his white moonlight, openly trampled the Su family's face in the mud. His tone implied that it was the Su family insisting on the alliance with the Jiang family. What a joke if not for the early engagement, how could a small Jiang family catch the Su family's eye? Luna, with her fiery temper, happened to be at the scene and couldn't hold back. Please explain that Miss Chloe is Ethan's lifesaver, and for repayment, Ethan directly made Miss Chloe pregnant before marriage. Chloe's face turned pale instantly, and the camera sharply focused on her. Luna pressed the advantage, you haven't gotten the certificate, yet you're pregnant first, Ethan, be careful this child might not be yours. Don't end up making wedding clothes for others. She paused, satisfied with their sudden change in expressions, and concluded, everyone, when saving people in the future, keep your eyes open. Be careful that when others repay, they might gift you a child too. After saying that, ignoring the reactions, she turned and left. The on-site reporters smelled the elite family secrets and rushed toward the two. Is what Miss Luna said true? Are you really pregnant before marriage? May I ask what Miss Chloe helped you with? Would you repay others this way too? Mr. Ethan, please respond directly. The scene gradually lost control. Ethan suddenly stood up, protecting Chloe behind him. His face twisted as he roared at the camera, Sophia, too afraid to show yourself, sending Luna to throw dirty water, is this all the Su family can do? We had an engagement, yes, but it was the elders' decision, now it's about free love. I don't want to be bound, bravely pursuing love, what's wrong with that? Even if the Su family is rich and powerful, you can't buy my Ethan's true heart. He held his head high, looking righteous and fighting for love. Surprisingly, a few reporters were moved by his affection and couldn't help cheering. I was shocked by his whitewashing rhetoric. Is their whole family this thick-skinned? Does he think I won't publicly embarrass him? I called Luna, and my clear voice played in the venue. Ethan, you publicly broke the agreement at the wedding first, shouting about free love, yet comfortably enjoying the benefits of the alliance. Ethan, this skill of eating soft rice hard, is it also learned from repaying favors? Ethan's true heart is precious, but unfortunately, without the Su family's ships, the Jiang family's ports will probably be completely abandoned, right? You. Ethan was furious, glaring at me viciously. Chloe suddenly moaned, Ethan, my belly, it hurts so much. Ethan was greatly alarmed, immediately picking her up, not forgetting to glare at me viciously. Sophia, it's all your fault. Chloe is pregnant and can't handle anger, yet you force her like this. Truly a venomous heart. If anything happens to Chloe, the Jiang family won't let you off. I indifferently shrugged. If I remember correctly, the hospital where Miss Chloe is stabilizing her pregnancy is a Su family property, right? You must change to another one, to avoid saying the Su family framed you later. Ethan's foot slipped, nearly throwing Chloe out. Ethan. At this point, Chloe's belly no longer hurt, and her body was no longer weak. Her hands tightly clutched Ethan's clothes, fearing for herself. The two fled in disarray, eliciting snickers from the venue. Luna laughed uncontrollably. This couple harmonizing the acting is really good, no wonder they caught each other's eye. Can't argue with our Sophia, so they think of fleeing in panic. The Jiang family is so majestic. Luna added fuel, and the venue stopped pretending, all laughing arrogantly. I hung up the phone, leaning back in the chair finally, temporarily done. Initially, when we were together, we had a period of intimacy. We studied abroad together, and each was like family to the other. During my periods, he would attend to me diligently, trying to make me less uncomfortable. Unaccustomed to foreign white people's food, he would diligently learn recipes. Once during a school meeting, others watched him sweating profusely in the kitchen, jaws dropping in surprise. He meticulously prepared surprises for my birthdays. Even without family, we relied on each other and got through. At that time, I really thought living like that would be fine. But after he returned from a trip abroad, everything changed. At first, he spent less time at home, then gradually stayed out all night. He stopped managing the home and stopped cooking. Waking up at midnight from stomach pain, there was no longer someone beside me handing a cup of hot water. Birthdays were forgotten. At the time, I thought since he had been cultivated properly, he wouldn't do anything out of line. At worst, after marriage, we'd each live well, treating each other with respect. But unexpectedly, others took your concessions as permission to push further. In retrospect, I was truly foolish in emotions back then, leaving all my intelligence for business. After that day, public opinion fully shifted to the Su family's side. The Jiang family's stocks were affected and declined somewhat. I didn't care, as every day I had to coax someone who daily complained resentfully about lacking status, while also handling business matters. Until one day, I received an anonymous package. It contained the family heirloom jade pendant my mother gave to the Jiang family at the engagement, and a portrait Ethan once painted of me. The jade was shattered, and the portrait was splashed with red paint. After my mother's death, the jade was the last memento she left me. I had planned to retrieve it in a few days. Unexpectedly, Ethan left no face, smashing it to pieces. I tightly gripped the fragments, clenching my molars. Picking up my phone to make the Jiang family pay, Ethan's message popped up. Chloe doesn't like seeing these. I originally wanted to throw them away for you, but since they're yours, I'm sending them back for you to take a look. This is the price for provoking Chloe. Sophia, remember this lesson. I laughed in anger, about to reply. The office door was suddenly slammed open. Luna held a tablet, face red with anger. Sophia, that bastard Ethan has gone mad. He's hired trolls to throw dirty water online, slandering you with a hereditary mental illness history, saying you abused him. She pulled out a photo of Lucas in front of the car that day. The pixels were blurry, clearly a sneak shot, even the people were unrecognizable. He also says you had an affair with someone else early on, that you cuckolded him first. The alliance is just the Su family's plot to annex the Jiang family. Utter nonsense, inverting black and white. On the screen, various unsightly titles and posts were shocking, full of malice. The topic of the Su and Jiang families was already hot today. Now with this stir, it immediately sparked heated discussions online. The one-sided opinion from a few days ago wavered, and the Su family's reputation sharply declined. Before I could speak, the office phone suddenly rang. It was the director in charge of port business, voice grave. Sophia, the Jiang family just sent a unilateral termination of cooperation letter. These are the highest profit core projects, also our strongest in resources and routes. Ethan publicly claims to be independent and self-reliant, escaping the Su family's control. I sneered aloud. Independent and self-reliant? When did the Su family's leech gain the courage to shout independence? I'd like to see how long the Jiang family can survive without Su support. The Jiang family has such backbone. Notify everyone to execute the contingency plan. Yes. The director's voice instantly gained confidence. Just hung up, and another message popped up on my phone. Things really pile up. This is the most worthwhile episode since buying the phone. It was Lucas. Don't forget the modest gift I gave you. I took out the USB drive and inserted it into the computer. The information that met my eyes made them widen. Interesting. I immediately sent it to the director. Ethan, I'm waiting to see how your Jiang family achieves independence. Online was completely controlled by the Jiang family, with opinions criticizing the Su family. Elite family's waters are deep. Miss Sophia looks glamorous on the surface, but secretly has a hereditary disease and abuses Ethan? No wonder Ethan fled the wedding for true love. Who could endure that? Ethan is really pitiful, clearly from a good background, yet treated as a tool to climb the Su family. Support Ethan pursuing true love and escaping The director needed time, so I first handled the trending searches at the company. That evening when I returned home, Ethan was blocking the door with a group, setting up cameras, surrounded by reporters. Ethan stood triumphantly in the center of the lens, arrogantly looking at me. Facing the live camera, he raised his voice. Dear friends, recent claims that the Jiang family depends on the Su family are complete slander. The Jiang family can perform even better without the Su family. Today here with Sophia, I want everyone to witness together. Our Jiang family has cooperated with an authoritative overseas enterprise that 10 Su families couldn't match. He paused, lifting his hand to adjust his cuff, his gaze sweeping over the tightly closed Su family gate and my unchanged expression, tone provocative. Soon, the partner will arrive. I invite everyone to share today's glory and witness the overseas tycoon's style. Miss Sophia, after all, we were once potential spouses. I can't watch the Su family fall. So, kneel and beg me, as long as Chloe is happy, I'll have him support you too. I didn't respond. Among the crowd, those who knew the company couldn't hold back. I know that company. It monopolizes all overseas trade, controlling 80% of the economic lifeline. I've heard too, the new head is decisive and sharp-eyed, directly increasing market value by 5 points after taking over. Yes, heard he's only in his 20s, already married young and accomplished, married early. The Jiang family is impressive now. Ethan listened satisfactorily to the surrounding flattery. How about it, Sophia? While I'm in a good mood, still considering helping you. At that moment, a low engine roar came from the intersection, approaching. Everyone's attention was instantly drawn. A Lamborghini slid into view. He's here. See? This is the Jiang family's confidence. Sophia, just wait and see. The car door opened, and a long leg wrapped in black trousers stepped out first. Red thin-soled leather shoes stepped on the ground, revealing a tall and straight figure. This is the Jiang family's true backing, an overseas force entrenched for years. It was Lucas. I crossed my arms, leisurely watching him approach step by step. I gave him a look. He stopped beside Ethan, similarly leisurely returning my gaze. Ethan saw Lucas get out, eyes lighting up, immediately fawning as he greeted, "Mr. Lucas, you've arrived." Facing the camera, he shouted triumphantly, "This is the Jiang family's partner, the head of the overseas Fu family. Sophia, see? Without me, you probably wouldn't have the chance to meet such a big shot, right? Your Su family is done, even if you kneel and slap yourself now, I won't let you off." The crowd boiled again. Looks like the Su family is completely hopeless. Serves her right. What was she doing earlier? Not quickly pleasing Ethan sensibly, still pretending to be aloof, now she's pretended her family away. This Lucas is too handsome, how is he already married? That girl eats well. Lucas is truly young and successful, but why does this figure look so familiar? You find every handsome guy familiar? You're just purely lustful. Ethan added fuel, one word from Lucas, and your Su family disappears completely. Lucas eyed Ethan's fawning extended hand but ignored it. Instead, he looked at me, lips slightly curved. "Ethan has such great prestige." The tone was flat but carried invisible pressure. The obvious sarcasm went unnoticed by Ethan, who acted foolishly. Still immersed in the fantasy of the Jiang family's imminent rise. He continued threatening me blindly, "Is Sophia so scared she can't speak? No problem, you can still come to the Jiang family to take care of Chloe, I can even, for old time's sake, take you in." I laughed mercilessly. "Ethan, who gave you the illusion that the Su family is a weak clan to be manipulated? Your Jiang family is just a pet the Su family casually fed and raised, now grown a bit, you dare roar at the master. We were too gentle with you before, making you forget yourself." I calmly uttered the last sentence, "I only need 5 days to make the Jiang family disappear completely from the capital." Ethan heard my bold words, first stunned, then laughing hysterically, unable to control himself. Tears squeezed from his eyes, finally, panting, he stopped. "Sophia, I have to say I admire you, on the brink of death, still so arrogant. I know you value face, but now like this, no need to show off anymore. Still 5 days to make the Jiang family disappear. I think in 5 days, it'll be your Su family kneeling and begging me." He turned to Lucas, face full of flattery. While speaking, he approached Lucas. Ended up missing, nearly falling. Lucas calmly adjusted his clothes, with no apology for almost causing the fall. Ethan smiled awkwardly, not daring to complain to Lucas. He turned back to vent on me. Mouth opening to spew arrogance, interrupted by a phone call. He frowned displeased, "What is it? Don't you know what I'm doing?" His arrogant voice stopped abruptly. "What? Ports frozen. All accounts capital chains broken. How is that possible? Who did it?" Hearing the other side, he looked at me incredulously. Furiously hung up, staring up at me. "Sophia, what trick are you playing?" Then suddenly enlightened. "Ah, I get it, you know the Su family is done, so this is a dying counterattack." He felt relieved as if knowing the truth. "Useless, those losses Lucas can compensate us with a finger wave. Save your strength, don't waste energy on futile things. Quickly think about self-preservation." A clown, how didn't I notice before? Ethan is stupid to death. I was completely too lazy to deal with him, Luna called just then. "Sophia, matters handled. Now I'll see how the Jiang family turns over." As the words fell, Ethan's phone rang again. This time without previous composure, he hesitated briefly before answering. This time his face changed more thoroughly than last, unable to even make a sound. Onlookers could only see the previously majestic Ethan turn deathly pale in an instant. The thick darkness couldn't hide his breakdown. He swallowed hard, his hand lightning fast grabbing at Lucas beside him. Caught off guard, Lucas couldn't dodge and was trapped. "Lucas, about our two families' cooperation, you see. Why not start now, many people here, just as witnesses. This way, we can profit faster." Lucas finally uttered his first words in a long time, "Sure." Ethan immediately beamed. Turning to continue bragging to me, but before opening his mouth, his face changed. Lucas walked straight to me, ignoring the impotently raging and jumping Ethan beside. I hadn't reacted yet. After all, live fox borrowing tiger's might was quite entertaining. Not to mention the fox was so stupid. Ethan stood blankly, eyes wide watching Lucas stop in front of me, take off the jacket Ethan had touched earlier, and casually throw it to the ground. As if no one else was there. Acted enough? Miss Sophia. Or should I get you that chair? Standing is tiring. Seeing you so happy, why not let him bounce a bit more? I chuckled lightly, extending my hand to hold him. Lucas naturally took it, standing beside me. His sharp aura retracted, quietly gazing at me, leaving Ethan and the onlookers dumbfounded. The live camera clearly captured Ethan's instantly ashen face. The surrounding crowd's atmosphere heated up. Damn, what's going on? Lucas is on Miss Sophia's side. Ethan is totally dumbfounded now. They're a couple, and he's still bouncing there. Ha 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 ha, too exciting. Large-scale face slap. Seen Ethan's face must hurt to death. Situation reversed instantly. Now the Jiang family is really done. How about another big shot for more face slapping? It's so satisfying, but too short. Not enough. Ethan furious, shut up. You fence-sitters. How could the Jiang family be defeated so easily? It's just the Su family temporarily ahead. Sophia. Wait, the Jiang family won't let you off. His tone strong and calm, but his hand shook so much he could barely hold the phone. Everyone clearly no longer believed Ethan. He pretended to be calm, adjusting his suit. Like an incompetent villain exiting, he said his last line, Sophia, don't get too smug, the Jiang family will definitely return. Then, facing the media's mocking lenses, he scrambled into the car and fled. The gate closed behind us, isolating the outside chaos. Lucas pinched my palm, eyes full of heartache. Used the modest gift? I smiled and nodded, evidence of Jiang family port smuggling very timely. The director has started action. Lucas patted my head gratifiedly, a flash of coldness in his eyes. Not enough. He dared smash your mother's memento, he must pay the price. I leaned exhaustedly on his shoulder, tired yet at ease. I know. This time, no mercy. I took out my phone and directly called the director. Ports, fully blockade Jiang family vessels. All cooperation projects, terminate immediately. Notify banks to freeze all Jiang family-related credits. From the other end came the director's steady and powerful voice. Understood, Sophia. Contingency plan activated. The reporters Ethan invited originally aimed to aid the Su family's downfall, but now it benefited me instead. After last night's fermentation, the next day's financial news headlines emerged. Jiang family ports fully blockaded by Su Corporation, vessels stranded, heavy losses. Multiple banks announce freezing of Jiang credits, capital chain feared broken. Jiang stock opens with 30% plunge, triggering circuit breaker. The comments below admired the Su family's decisive actions and criticized the Jiang family's capitalism. I looked at the screen expressionlessly. This is just the beginning. Ethan, the humiliation you've given the Su family these days, I'll make you repay double. On Ethan's side, after returning home, unable to accept inwardly, he collapsed unconscious on the bed. The next day, Robert mercilessly slapped him awake. Is Miss Sophia someone you can provoke casually? What did I tell you before? You must please the Su family. Go kowtow and apologize to Miss Sophia now. If you don't get the Su family's forgiveness, don't come back. Ethan, just woken, suffered this blow and was still dazed. He was the only son, the sole heir. Cultivated from childhood, pampered. Now his father slapped him for a Sophia. Belated fear surged, he realized he seemed to have lost something important. Ethan immediately set off to the Su family old residence. He suddenly realized that previously, the Su family always welcomed him with open doors anytime. Unknowingly from when, they shut him out. The villa was quiet, empty. Ethan crazily typed in Sophia's message box. No response. Chloe called. Ethan, I saw the online news, don't be sad. I believe the Jiang family can get through this, come back, I'll think of ways with you. Ethan replied okay as usual, but his voice trembled, incoherent. I was at Lucas's home, doing the closing network. Guessing Ethan would go to the old residence for me, I had transferred bases early. I typed the last word, picked up the phone. Luna asked excitedly, counterattack? I nodded, time to close the net. I logged into the Sioux Corporation official account and issued a statement, regarding Mr. Ethan's false accusations. The statement is as follows: 1. Ms. Sophia is physically and mentally healthy, with no abusive behavior ever. Relevant medical reports submitted to notary. 2. Mr. Ethan left the wedding with third-party Chloe, complete video as evidence, constituting factual betrayal. 3. The so-called evidence photos are malicious sneak shots, taken out of context. Ms. Sophia and Mr. Lucas are in a legal spousal relationship. 4. Have formally sued Mr. Ethan for defamation, insult, etc. in court. Attachment: partial evidence of Jiang Group using ports for smuggling, tax evasion, economic investigation filed. The statement caused an uproar across the net. Marriage certificate? Sophia and Lucas are married? Holy crap. Ethan is the slag man eating soft rice and cheating. Smuggling? Tax evasion? Jiang family self-destructing. Support Sophia. Sue this slag to death. The Jiang family's reputation was thoroughly ruined, like rats crossing the street. Ethan's calls came frantically. I directly blocked. He changed numbers and texted, Sophia. You're so ruthless. Stop quickly. Jiang family is collapsing. For old affection, please. I sneered and replied, affection? Did you think of affection when smashing the jade? Sophia, I was really wrong. He started crazily typing in the message box, reminiscing our beautiful past. By the end, he moved himself. Sophia, I was really wrong, I just wanted to play around then. You're still my wife, she's just a plaything. Come back, okay? Let's live well together from now on. Truly pretended too long, even fooling himself. I hung up, one key blocked, no longer dealing with him. Soon, Robert and Margaret cried and shouted to the Sioux Corporation building. They were firmly stopped by security outside, unable to see me. The family matriarch held a megaphone wailing, Sophia. Good daughter-in-law. We were wrong. It was all Ethan bewitched. We apologize for him. Please show mercy. Jiang family's decades of foundation. Robert supported his wife, tears streaming, we'll make Ethan break clean with that bitch right now. We don't want the child. From now on, only recognize you as daughter-in-law. I stood at the top floor window, coldly watching the farce below. Luna curled her lip, now they know to beg? What were they doing earlier? I instructed the secretary, call the police, sue them for disturbing public order. Police arrived soon. Robert and Margaret were forcibly taken away. Ethan rushed out from somewhere, yelling at the police, let go of my parents. Sophia. You venomous woman. You think having Lucas backing you makes you great? I won't let you off. I'll perish with you. He struggled like a madman, pressed to the ground by police. The once graceful Ethan became a complete joke. Some busybody started a live stream, barrages flooding, serves him right. Pa. Eating soft rice hard and still so arrogant. Support Sophia. This slag should rot in jail. I watched satisfied as opinion fermented. Below, Ethan raged impotently. I sipped coffee. Don't rush, it's not over yet. That afternoon, more bad news hit the Jiang family. Jiang Group core assets sealed by court. Multiple partners announced termination with Jiang, claiming huge breach penalties. The Jiang family now struggled to protect itself. Late night, I received a stranger's message. It was Chloe. Sister Sophia, save me. Ethan's gone mad. He's venting all anger on me. He says I ruined the Jiang family. He hits me. Attached photos showed arms bruised purple and blue. I replied expressionlessly, "What does it have to do with me? When you designed to save him and seduced him, did you anticipate this?" She replied quickly, with sobs, lacking the elegance of her fake cry at the wedding, "I know I was wrong. He forced me. I have evidence of Ethan transferring marital assets, faking accounts. I'll give it all to you. Please give me a way out." I curled my lip. Fish hooked successfully. "Send it over." An encrypted file came. Inside was ironclad evidence of Ethan secretly transferring Sue investments, forging accounts. I called the assistant. "Send these, along with the previous, to economic investigation and tax authorities." On the fourth day, the farce ended, finally with temporary results. Jiang Group announces bankruptcy liquidation. Ethan arrested for suspected smuggling, tax evasion, embezzlement, etc. Robert sudden heart attack hospitalized, Margaret mental breakdown. Overwhelming news popped up one by one. The once prominent Jiang family, within 5 days, vanished into smoke. I stood at the office window, overlooking the city. Lucas embraced me from behind. "Ended?" I leaned on him, amended. "The Jade's revenge, avenged." He kissed my hair top. "Our wedding should be scheduled." Status: "I've waited long." I smiled, turned, hugged his neck. "Good. This time, I'll officially marry you in." Lucas chuckled low, kiss falling, "As you command, Sophia." 1 month later. The capital's top estate was preparing a grand banquet. Sioux Corporation President Sophia and overseas Fu family head Lucas's wedding of the century. The whole city watched. I tried on the custom wedding dress. Luna chattered excitedly beside, "Too beautiful, Sophia. That kid Lucas must have cultivated blessings for 8 lifetimes." Guess where Ethan is now? I faced the mirror, tone flat, detention center. Waiting for trial. Heard Chloe early took the last bit of money and ran, didn't want the child. Lunat sked, Dylan's grind each other. Serves them right. She helped adjust my veil, suddenly serious. "Sophia, have you really let go?" I looked at my dressed self in the mirror, eyes clear, never picked up how to let go. That bit of affection from the past shattered clean when he left the wedding holding Chloe. Now, I curved a happy smile, I only anticipate my wedding, and my bride. The door knocked. Lucas's voice came, in a well-tailored suit, handsome and elegant. His face, usually with some playfulness, was unusually serious, voice with a trace of undetectable tension. "Wife, ready?" I looked in the mirror, smile widening. "Ready. Coming now."